our start with our Tata Group video, then overview of TCS. But again, this technical difficulties are keeping us away from that. But anyway, let me verbally talk to you without slides today. This is a challenge for me to keep you engaged parallelly, make it as interactive as possible. So I was discussing about why you choose a selective brand. When you go to Chroma store, someone will go for LG, someone will go for Samsung, etc. There's a predefined preference. You said preference, brand image. Similarly, my question to you is why customers choose one vendor over the other? All will have good capabilities from the execution perspective. We have tier one vendors like IBM, Accenture, Capgemini, Cognizant, Infosys, Wipro, HCL Tech, TCS. All of these hopefully will be coming to your institute as well for placements. But why customers choose one vendor over the other? Attempt it. There's nothing wrong. In that context, for refrigerator, it is fine. After sales, what else? Trust. What else? Pricing. What else? I just tell you one important underlined thing is, it is applicable to business as well, personal relationships as well. We do business with people we are comfortable with, isn't it? When you make friends, what do you do? If you are not comfortable, will you be friends with each other? Never, right? So that comfort, see, certain ups and downs will happen in business at any time. There will be instances wherein business is doing exceptionally well. There will be instances when there is a downturn or business is not doing well for the customer. But who do we call as a reliable partner? Who stays with us at all times when we are doing well, and even when we are not doing well as well. So let me ask you, how is Vodafone doing these days when the Jio entered into the telecom market? What has been the situation for Vodafone in last few quarters or years? It's a difficult situation, right? It asks government for help. So many things are happening. So, but we have never left Vodafone as a customer, even if they have their own set of challenges. What essentially I am saying is, it is applicable in personal life as well as in business also. How we define ourselves as, when you grow up in your career journey, any corporate you will be joining, I would ask you to aspire for trusted. The slides have come finally. So thanks for that. Harshita, I think, is there. So I will ask you to change the slides accordingly. So what essentially I was saying is, whichever corporate you join, whichever vertical you join, whichever geography you operate in, if you have a preference for North America, you want to operate from London, those global opportunities are also there. So when you complete your MBA program, you want to join a multinational company. So those international assignments we call as onshore opportunities or on-site opportunities. Some of you might have heard also. Offshore means India, like, if for a global organization. On-site means maybe in Europe, North America, wherever is your inclination towards. So try to be or aspire to be a strategic trusted advisor. Strategic trusted advisor means we all have our role models, right? In your management program, you look up to some people who inspires you, right? So I would suggest, when you grow up in your career journey, try to be the strategic trusted advisor for your customers. Any industry you are in, any corporate you join, this will take you to, very high heights if you are able to build trust within your stakeholders. So with that, I'll start my presentation. I think it's already 2:30, but yeah, Harshita, next. So this is my organization, TCS. This is our numbers for this quarter 3. We are a $25 billion company, quarterly revenue of $7 billion plus, and part of Tata Group, India's largest multinational business conglomerate. And many of you would have been using our products and services in one form or other. So TCS being the, I would say, if the Tata Group uh, number of employees are around 10 lakhs, 6 lakhs are in TCS only. So, I mean, out of 100 companies which Tata Group has in its fold, 10 lakh employees are employed across, whether it's say Tata Salt, Tata Chemicals, Tata Motors, or any other, product you utilize from Tata Group. 6 lakhs employees are in my organization itself out of 10 lakhs. Yeah, next slide, Harshita. This is the philosophy we believe in. Someone said community. So this is what our founders have kind of believed in, and we are carrying this legacy over the years. Next slide, Harshita. Some numbers, 6 lakhs plus employees, and women 36%. That's a today's Women's Day also. So, like certain sectors, like manufacturing or some other sectors, which generally are not known for women-friendly kind, How many of you are from mechanical engineering background? No, not boys, girls. So again, so generally, when I talk to management students, I ask this question. So only maybe 3 or 4 in your batch also, you will be able to relate to it. In mechanical engineering, all male and 4 females will be there. So what essentially I'm saying is this IT sector is one sector where even women employees have good growth opportunities. So even our workforce, out of 6 lakhs, 36% is women workforce only. And they are into global assignments across the globe. They are serving the customers. And some more details which you see, 153 nationalities, like I am an Indian, so there is an American, there is an African, 153 nationalities. So such a vast, and you have so much scope for growth. And if you are comfortable or if you have aspirations to be on site, so we provide that kind of opportunities for you. Next slide. This is our leadership team led by our Chief Executive Officer, Rajesh Gopinathan. Yeah, next slide. Harshita, go ahead. So this is the agenda. Half time I have already covered, without slides, direct interaction with you. So I was talking about Chief Executive Officer and Chief Sales Officer's priorities. Then why a particular market behaves in a certain way? There are certain drivers and challenges which kind of define that kind of behavior. And this is important, B2B customer buying journey. So if you look at as an individual, you can also relate to it. You will also have your customer journey as well. Means from the start till the purchase of the product, you will have seen, as I was giving example of refrigerator, there is a LG refrigerator, there is a Samsung refrigerator. When you want to make that decision, there is some need, right? There is some pain point you are addressing, why you did some decision you have taken to buy LG refrigerator. You have certain, I would say, pain areas, so that's what it is, you are trying to avoid that or fulfill that. And that's what we'll be covering in the market drivers and the journey. This another one is the sense-making sales approach. So one is, I'll be sharing some examples with you, how this is an upcoming trend which we observe in the market. And this next one is the cycle of lead generation to the customer acquisition. I just give you one example. I was talking about customers and logos. Customers are those organizations which I'm already doing business with. Logos means or prospects, you would have heard in your marketing terminology as well in Management Institute, which I want to do business with, but currently I don't have any traction. So one is already, they are kind of giving revenue to me. So they are my customers, I'm already in business with them. They are my existing customers. Logos or prospects means I am not having business with them, but I want to do business with them. And I just give you one example from North America perspective. We target, our sales team is targeting around 2,300 logos, at a given point of a time. And these are categorized as dream logos, A logos, B category, C category, etc. Dream logos are actually Fortune organizations, maybe $100 billion plus annual revenue. A category logos are those logos which are strategically fit for TCS from business perspective and have a good potential from business perspective. Similarly, as we go down B category, C category, relevance decreases. But this is how the business is run. For example, in your class, there are good students, top performers. Some are average kind, some are bad students also, right? We know it, right? Who is bad, who is not the right fit. So we do those classifications, right? Similarly, in business also, we have those classifications. And the last one is digital and the human part. Because of the pandemic or infection in last a few months earlier, so all the calls were in remote or through MS Teams we were doing it. There was no client visits were happening. Everything was on calls or over email, etc. So this one, digital and human methods, I will be covering. Yeah, go ahead, Harshita. Next. Yeah, next. So this is CEO priorities for business in 2023. Next slide, Harshita. So see, growth. Growth is the biggest driver for any organization. So what does it mean? As a management student, what is your interpretation of this slide? When you join the corporate, this is your day-to-day work. You'll be working on PPTs, slides, presentations. You will be giving to your supervisors, managers. What is your interpretation of this slide? Yes, revenue, business growth. Any student would like to attempt? What is your interpretation here? Yeah, would you like to say? You are saying something? Yeah, stand up. Yes, you. Huh. Yes, you only. No, stand up, no? Attempt it. Attempt. What is your interpretation of this slide? Sorry? Come again. See, as a management student, sit down, that's fine, that's okay. As a management student, when you join the corporate world, you will be responsible for analysis. This is a factual details we are presenting it to you, right? How do you interpret, how do you analyze the data? That is very important, and it's a skill. It does not come in one day. You have to be very, I would say, proactively pushing yourself to. There will be a lot of pie charts, graphical representations. You have to make meaning out of them. and which is making business sense. So here, these are the CEO's top strategic priorities, where 51% of the respondents said that growth is their major focus area. As I said, no, business growth is very important for the sustainability of the organization. If TCS is $25 billion organization in 2023, we have aspirations to become $50 billion, for example, say in coming 3 years or 5 years down the line. So growth, you as an individual also, you have aspirations to grow, right? You want to be, for example, in your grades also, if you are at grade, you are scoring at 8, you will be attempting for 8.1 grade also, right? It's a normal, right? It's a normal expectation also that whatever you do, you will grow in that business. So 51% of the respondents said that growth is their focus area. 34% said that technology related. Let me ask you, what are the latest trends in IT industry? Anybody would like to attempt? I have limited time, so I would just like to kind of skip this question. Artificial intelligence, you are aware, right? Chat GPT, all this, on daily basis, a lot of news things we are seeing in the internet. Artificial intelligence, cloud, blockchain, big data. So these are, and I would say that from business perspective, in these latest initiatives is very core for the sustainability of the organizations. These are the top priorities for the CEOs. Next slide, Harshita. And they remain positive on the technology investments they are doing. For example, Unilever or Hindustan Lever Limited in India, globally it's a Unilever. So they are spending more and more amount on making their processes more automated, more efficient, more effective. That's where the vendors like TCS bring that cost optimization or efficiency in the process. When we standardize, whatever the value chain, across the value chain, the business processes are. And if you look at the over the years trend, it is on the higher side. So investments, technology investments are increasing. IT spending is increasing. Next slide, Harshita. This is Chief Sales Officer's priority. See that improving pipeline creations and sales development. What does it mean? I was explaining you existing customers or prospective customers or logos which we were talking about. Pipeline means if I am doing business with, TCS does business with 2,000 customers currently. I have a pipeline of, for example, 500 customers which I want to do business also. Maybe GE I am working with, I want to work with ABN AMRO as well. I am working with Bank of America. I want to work with maybe another insurance major fortune company, for example. So improving pipeline. So it's like normal, right? In your day-to-day scenario as a student, you have a pocket money of, for example, in a month you get 1,000 rupees pocket money from your parents. So that is your existing amount which you have. In that context, as a student, if you want to buy, for example, a product of rupees 2,000, that is not sufficient, right? You need more amount. So where will it come from? If, for example, if your parents gift you some more amount, if you have done exceptionally well, you have stood first in your class or whole college, etc., possibly that's where, from business perspective, improving pipeline means getting more business from the customers. I'm trying to explain you in your day-to-day scenarios as well. From business perspective, if I'm doing with business with 2,000 customers, I have 500 more customers lined up, fortune companies with whom I can have more business. And we call them accounts in our TCS terminology, strategic accounts, etc. So these are the priorities for the chief sales officers. Next, please. Yeah, so this is very pertinent market drivers and challenges. Next slide, Harshita. Why do we need to understand this? So we observe new buying habits from our customers. Means if you look at digital first generation, means more interactions we have with our customers in digital form. If you look at a few years earlier and now, like almost all of you are using Paytm, Phone Pay, Google Pay, etc., right? If I ask you 5 years earlier, there was nothing like that, right? So a lot of the customer buying have changed in our context as well, for corporate perspective as well, as we see that change happening. And AI enhanced technology, so that is a new thing, and it's going to disrupt in a big way. It's not only in our IT industry, but across other verticals as well, we will be seeing the impact. And some more points we will see here. Next slide, Harshita. I have limited time. These are the top challenges. Each buyer journey is unique. For example, TCS work with the global customers, right? We do business with PepsiCo also. We are working with Coca-Cola as well. Unilever is our customer. Procter & Gamble is also our customer. Mondelez, Mars, Johnson & Johnson, SC Johnson. So many global customers we work with. But what is unique, Unilever journey is different than Procter & Gamble. What I mean is, what is applicable for one customer, it cannot be force fit into the other customer. Like because why? For example, Kimberly-Clark. So they have 64 mills globally, 350 lines, where they are having their manufacturing setup. If I try to replicate Kimberly-Clark's from IT perspective to Procter & Gamble, it is not going to work because their technology landscape is different. Someone is working on SAP, others might be on Oracle. So what essentially I'm saying is that each buyer journey is different. That's what the point I'm saying is unique, is different, and standardized models don't work. So as a student also, when your professors are interacting with you, you will observe that some are the favorite for the professor, some are not so favorite. Right? It happens in your day-to-day scenario as well, right? So the way the top performer is treated by a professor, low performer will not be treated this way, right? You are able to relate to it, right? So similar way, each student has a different interaction with the same professor. Similarly, in this context, what is applicable, standardization is not applicable, means Procter & Gamble has a different priorities, different landscape, which is not applicable for Unilever. Then there is a lot more complexities now because of the many digital channels have opened up. Some more. Yeah, next slide, Harshita. And go back. Okay, interpret this slide. Anyone, attempt it. You may fail, that is fine. Attempt it. What does this slide represent? You are a management student, you should have some viewpoint. Attempt this slide. What does this mean? Sorry? What is the interpretation? Okay, I think she shuffled the slide. Okay, that's fine. So this is fine. So what essentially we are saying is sales budgets are shifting to emerging technologies. Like I was saying, AI, generative AI, so all these latest in things, blockchain, etc., where investments are happening by the top customers now, and that trend is on the positive side. It is increasing. So as I said, no, companies have limited resources. For example, if TCS is a $25 billion company, I have resources, limited resources are there, which is applicable for Kimberly Clark or GlaxoSmithKline, etc. as well. Now, I was explaining you example of run the business or change the business. Certain amount I need to run my business, maybe 60, if I have 100 rupees, like let me give you a day-to-day example. If you as a student, you have a pocket money of 100 rupees for your commuting from your residence to your campus, food, or the other basic requirements, you spend 60 rupees, for example, in basic requirements, commuting, food, and other requirements which you may have. So you utilize 60 rupees for your basic needs. 40 rupees you are left with, which you can spend on what you aspire to buy. So 60 rupees is run the business in business terminology. 40% I have for the new investments I want to do. For example, if you aspire to buy a new Parker pen, which is costing 150 rupees, let us take that example. 60 rupees you are spending on commuting, food, and basic requirements. You are left with 40 rupees savings. You can save for consecutive 4 days, for example, 40, 40, 40, 40. 160 rupees you get, and then you buy that Parker pen after 4 days. Are you able to relate to this, what I'm saying? So run the business means minimum basic requirements which the business has to run, and then emerging technologies. 60 rupees I'm spending, anyway I'm spending to maintain my current business. I have 40 rupees left for the new initiatives which I can deploy. I can spend in artificial intelligence, I can spend those amount in doing POCs, we call them proof of concept, we call them, I would say, more towards forward-looking areas. Yeah, next slide, Harshita. And this slide talks about sales representative versus website channels. When you go to buy a refrigerator in Chroma, there is a sales representative also, and there is a Chrome website also, which you have access to. You can get inputs on what is the costing, what is the height, and all specifications you can get on website as well. You can, and the salesperson will also explain the same. This slide talks about the preferences customers are having when they make a buying decisions. 82% said that they are dependent upon supplier, whereas 79% said that they get those inputs in the website during problem identification phase. So this is a comparative between website channels as well as sales representative. Next slide, Harshita. Yeah, just stay focused on this one. Next slide, Harshita. This is important. This is the B2B customer buying journey. You will be able to relate to this. Any purchase you will do will have those 4 headers. Problem identification, solution exploration, requirements and supplier selection. In your example, which I was sharing with you, when you go to Chroma for buying refrigerator, are you able to relate to this? When you go to Chroma for buying refrigerator, this is your journey as well. When you go to Chroma, problem identification, there is some pain point which you as a customer you are facing to address by that. Maybe you need cold water, you want to kind of have preservatives for your vegetables, etc., which you have purchased. There is some pain point, that is a problem existing. There is some pain point which you are addressing by buying that product. Solution exploration. what are the options available? So, for example, if I want a cold water, I can buy a refrigerator, or I can have a pitcher, mud pitcher, right? For cooling in our rural areas, we utilize that, right? So solution exploration. I'm just giving real life examples so that you are able to relate to that. So one is the problem identification in any B2B journey, customer journey. Second is the solution exploration. If I want a cold water, I can buy a refrigerator, I can go for buying pitcher, who can keep the water cold. Third is the requirements building. Is it meeting my requirements? Means what are the kind of things I need to do to make this purchase? And fourth is the supplier selection. So it is like Samsung versus LG versus Panasonic versus so many other brands which are there. So any B2B customer journey will have these 4 steps. Any question anyone has? Yeah, any questions? So this is a fundamental, I would say, if I have to define in 4 steps, these are the 4 steps: problem identification, solution exploration, requirements building, and supplier selection. Let me talk from the TCS perspective. Problem identification. Let us take an example of Procter and Gamble. Their manufacturing lines are not efficient. Automation is required. I mean, there is a lot of breakdown happening. Proactively, they are not knowing when the line will go down, etc. Using IoT sensor, etc., that can be addressed. So problem is maintenance cost is high, and other costing is on the higher side. Solution exploration means what are the options available with Procter and Gamble. They have a new line set up, or they modify the current software they are using for their lines, make it more advanced. Then requirements building means mapping their pain points with the solutions which exist. And the last one is the supplier selection. So, I mean, have you heard of RFPs? I think it's too early because RFP, so we call them request for proposals when you join business, no? So any customer who wants to select suppliers, they will float an RFP, and it will invite multiple vendors where IBM, Accenture, TCS, Infosys will participate and pitch, these are our solutions and these are our costing and all. That is RFP. There is another term called RFI, request for information. RFP is request for proposal. RFI is request for information. You will familiarize yourself, when you kind of join the corporate world. RFX support. We call them in my corporate marketing team as RFX support. RFP, request for proposal. RFIs, request for information. So that's where, to make the process more effective, Procter and Gamble will choose from IBM, Capgemini, Cognizant, Infosys, TCS. That's a supplier selection. In your terms, it is selecting LG brand or Samsung brand. Next slide, Harshita. And this is one level deep. So if I have to, it's like, in your assignments also, when you work, when your professors gives you assignment, one is a high level view. You understand it, right? High level view. Second is in-depth, means one level down details. So this is B2B customer buying journey, one level details. So when you want to go to buy refrigerator from Chroma, just relate to it. So it is one level down detail, which you as a consumer or a customer do as well. Next slide, Harshita. And this I wanted to highlight how the trend is changing. So if you look at the legacy practice area, you would have also observed that they have been seller centric. Means, let me give you one example. When we were when we go to buy, for example, a refrigerator, now we have many options. But earlier years, when calculator was there, there were not many choices at that time, right? When people bought calculator, all those, when limited choices were there, seller centric. Whatever I am giving you, you take it. There is not much choices available. So, for example, we have been using Reynolds pen frequently, right? All of us, 5 rupees, 10 rupees Reynolds pen. Parker was, if it was not there, or any other brands were not there. So Reynolds, all of us were using similar. So what I am saying is seller centric. Whatever I am giving you, you buy it. So Tata salt, for example, it was with all of us. Right now, Ankur salt or so many other varieties are also there. Earlier, as Indians, we have access to Tata salt only, right? So seller-centric means what essentially I'm saying is when there are limited options available with the customer to choose from, whatever seller gives you, you buy. Now, I want to buy a laser printer. I can go for HP printer. I can go for Xerox printer. There's so many other options available with me. But this is the era which we are talking about, how it is changing is from seller-centric to customer-centric. And in coming years, we see as a customer situational-centric also. So at the center is the customer. So I can choose from Chroma, I can choose from the various options available, LG, Samsung, so many others. It is customer centric. So they target a particular salary income group. For example, as we say, middle class. So certain products are targeted at middle class only, certain targeted at the high salary income group. So customer centric. Earlier it was not there. So that changes we are seeing, and next level we are seeing where customer situational awareness, we are going to the next level, even beyond, we are trying to meet the expectations of the customers, which you would like to incorporate in the products. Yeah, next slide, Harshita. Next slide. Next. 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 Yeah, next slide. So I am skipping some of the sections because I have limited time right now. I have another presentation at International Management School of Excellence, and it's quite far, I was told. So I would like to, be short here in my presentation. But what essentially I am saying, this slide is important. When you went to buy a refrigerator, you need certain inputs, right? Costing, dimensions, specifications. And after some point of a time, if I give you additional information, it does not help me. You have observed it, right? Basic details you need. For example, for a Samsung fridge, what is the costing, the liter, whatever the capacity it has. And if I tell you it is weighing so many things, so much kgs, or additional technical parameters, it's not going to help me, right? Similarly, look at this graph. On the x-axis, we have volume of information. Y-axis, we have value derived. And as volume of information increases, after some time, it reaches at its peak. And then it starts declining. Value starts declining. Even though you are giving me more inputs, but it is not helping me. It happens in us, with all of us, right? I need specific inputs, and to some extent it is good. After that, even if you provide me more inputs, It does not, it's like our stress levels, right? Positive stress is healthy. As a student, you are kind of focused that I have to get a good job in maybe your dream company which you want to work with, whether it's Accenture or TCS with us in Tata Group. There is a positive stress. There is a, you have aspirations to join a multinational company, and it's a positive stress. It increases, and the value derives increases with that. After some time, if it is too much stress, then your performance starts decreasing. How many of you prepared for IIT exam? All of you, right? In your engineering, or IEM, when you are preparing for management institute, you would have observed it. When we were preparing for IIT or IEMs, our performance was improving with so much effort we have put in. After some time, we observed that even we are putting more efforts, but scores are coming same or same. That is the optimum. So what essentially I'm trying to say from our daily experiences, which all of us have gone through also, it is applicable to business as well. For a customer to make a buying decision, volume of information is sufficient to some extent. That is at the peak. But its value starts decreasing. Even if you give me more inputs, it does not help me. As I was giving example of a positive stress and negative stress, so after some time, the stress is a normal phenomenon. Even if you give me, so you are saying that the curve should be on a straight line. So, yeah, after reaching at the peak, it should be, but this is the, from, I would say, from the research, from the surveys which have been done, it has been observed that value derived reaches to the maximum. If the volume of information is increasing, it is not helping. It is rather overload is happening. When a student is working for IIM exam, 10 tests you take, you score 80%. 11 tests you take, you get to 75. Even though I am taking more tests for IIM preparation or IIT preparation, it is not helping me. My scores are going down from 80% to 75%. You have observed it, right? As an engineering student or MBA student, it's normal, right? So even though the volume of information is increasing, but it is not helping the customer. Similarly, value derived as a natural phenomena from research also it shows, after some time, it decreases. It's a research-based findings. Next slide, Archita. Next slide. And this is a new approach which we observe. For example, can anyone elaborate on this? Looking at this slide, what does it mean? Giving, telling, and sense-making approach. Attempt it. You may be completely off the mark. That is fine with me. Attempt it. At least I want someone to attempt this. This is, I wanted to give you an important input here. Yeah, stand up anyone who wants to attempt it. Attempt it. See, like when you will be competing with other students during your interviews, if I have only one opening and 10 are competing, only one is to be selected. How would I know who is that one person who has an extra edge? And sometimes you will hear this word, first mover advantage helps. You may be wrong, I am saying. Attempt it at least. Who wants to attempt this? What do you see on the graphical representation? Okay, let me explain you. You want to buy a laser printer, from the market. The first one, giving. What does giving means? You want to buy a laser color printer or laser black and white printer. Giving means you talk to Chroma and you say that I want a laser printer for my work requirements, they email you the brochure. They do it, right? Brochure emailing you. That is giving. Giving means they send you the specifications of that printer, how many pages it can print, and so many other costing related details in a brochure. They send you as a PDF attachment. What is telling? Right. So sales representative of Chroma, he explains you the features, how good it is as compared to Xerox printer, or how HP is better than the other brands which are competing. So giving is, I email you those specifications, those inputs through mail. That is giving. Telling is, sales representative is explaining you this is what it is. Sense making, what does this sense making sales approach mean? Any student would like to attempt this. One is giving. I emailed you the specifications, costing, done. Second is telling. Sales representative explains you the features and you are convinced. What is a sense making approach?
Show them the reviews or how it performs.
Right. So sense making, yeah, that's a correct direction. Sense making sales approach is where I am aligning my services to your requirements exactly the way they are. Means, as I said no earlier, seller centric. You have it, either take it or leave it. Seller centric. I am only giving you Kelvinator. You want it or you don't want it, your choice. Customer centric. Then we went to the customer situational centric. So I understand as a buyer, as a student, you want to buy a laser printer. You don't want color printer. You want only black and white printer because you need notes, you need reference documents for while you are commuting or in your assignment submission. You don't need color printer. You only need black and white printer. That is sense making. I am only selling you HP laser black and white printer aligned to your requirement, as you said, aligned to what is your pain point. Are you able to distinguish? First is the email of the specification. Second is salesperson explaining you sense making approach where I align my services and offerings to your pain points, your requirements. Fine. Any questions? Next slide, Harshita. Next slide. And we have observed that with this approach, even the win rates are higher. Ultimately, it's the wins, right? It's the business growth which happens. With this approach, from the research, it is observed that if I am able to address your exact needs, it's likely to be more winning situation. Next slide, Harshita. Yeah, this is important. You as a, for example, whichever corporate you join, you will have your customers, right? So these two statements are very powerful. Even the right-hand side is even more powerful. I am happy because I choose you. This is customer is saying that I am happy because I choose you. You are addressing my pain points, and you as a vendor, I am giving business to you. I am happy. I choose you. Look at right-hand statement, right-hand side. I am happy because I choose well. I choose TCS over other vendors because I am more comfortable with you doing business. You are my strategic trusted advisor. So when I was asking you as a student, what should be your aspiration when you join the corporate? I was explaining you, try to be a strategic trusted advisor. It is applicable here as well. I'm happy because I choose you. I'm happy because I choose well. I make the right decision. There are multiple options available. I went for a particular final one choice. I'm happy because I choose well. I think with the limited time, there are more slides as well. I would like to quickly glance you through. I wanted to give you one example of lead generation to client acquisition. So I was highlighting that in TCS, we are targeting around 2,300 logos at a given point of a time. And out of 2,300 logos, for example, there are around 500 logos after deal qualification or kind of due diligence, we call it. After 2,300 logos, we have zeroed down to 500 logos. It's a funnel kind. And after 500 logos, we are having conversations with, for example, 300 customers. It's normal, right? Like from a bucket, it's a funnel kind of a representation. 2,300 logos. After due diligence, I have 500 logos. After further qualification, I have 300 active customer conversations. With further refinement, I have 100 focused logos, which I am dealing with the customers, and 25 deals happen finally. Are you able to visualize this? So there is a larger set of 2,300 logos. After qualification, 500 logos are there. After further due diligence, there are 300 logos, 100 focused logos, and in a year or in a quarter, I have 25 deals wins. Lead generation. So 2,300 logos. From leads generation perspective, I am narrowing down my scope and with more focused approach, and which is resulting in a final maybe 25 wins in a quarter or so. I just wanted to show you that representation. I don't have much time, but I wanted to share as much inputs as possible on B2B sales. Next slide, Harshita. Not a hard and fast rule as well, just an example I'm sharing. Yeah. Next, see, look at this. This is the funnel I was talking to you. This is the funneling example. When you will be in the sales role, this is a typical scenario you will go through. Targeted accounts, 2,300. Are you able to relate to it? Detected, prioritized, 300. Pipeline, 100. Won, 25. This is a funnel. And this is a typical, I would say, any global organization will do this way. Next slide, Harshita. Next. These are again some technical terms, how we grow the business by acquisitions, etc. Next slide, Harshita. Next. See, this is what an example which I was sharing from TCS perspective. This is a general example at industry level which we observe. Just pay attention here. This is a typical B2B sales cycle from lead generation to client acquisition. So we started with 500, and I can't go in detail right now, but there are some more finer pointers, and this is how the funneling effect takes place. With that, I would like to wind up my presentation. Any questions you may have, you can ask now. Yeah, Harshita, wind up. Any questions anyone has? If no questions, thank you for this opportunity to be present here. And on behalf of TCS, thank you everyone. Thank you.